Who'd have thunk it? We actually beat Chelsea. And to be honest, I know people are going to overanalyze everything about that, saying, oh, what if it was 11v11? What if it was 10v10 for the whole time? Chelsea didn't really put us under any pressure when it was 10v10 and they were chasing the lead. I thought we defended it very well. I also thought we started with a level of intensity that I was hoping to see us start a lot of the games in. And, you know, you're starting off the season playing against Arsenal and then City away and then Chelsea at home. It's a tough start for any manager. So to be able to get that win is crucial for us. But I also think just to get it against, you know, one of the bigger teams, so-called, is important. So big win for Ruben Amorim, big win for the players. And I was there. Yes, I was in the East Stand. You know what's funny? Bearing in mind, I've been in the East Stand, I think, 3 times in my history of being a Manchester United fan. And the first time I went with my dad. For my first ever game, we won 4-2 against Fulham. Then I went by myself just before the pandemic. We won 3-0, I think it was, against Watford, where Bruno scored his first goal. And then we win 2-1 against Chelsea, where Bruno scored his 100th. We'll get to Bruno in a second, but before we get into it, make sure that you drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. We're close to hitting that 10k mark, and the giveaway is beautiful when we get there. And make sure you get in the comments, because I do read and respond to every single one, and you can be a part of the best and most thriving, healthiest Manchester United community in the world. Now, Manchester United versus Chelsea. It was, going into it, I didn't have much hope, because I saw the City game and I thought I wanted to look at it as a bit of an outlier, that it was just a poor performance and you can write those off for any campaign. But after what we saw last season and things like that, it just felt like it's the same old, same old. So I was scared that we were going to go back to our old poor habits against them. But ultimately, we didn't. I thought we started the game really well. You never know how you're going to end the game, especially at United. You know, you started well against Fulham. You still end up drawing that game just about. But I thought we started really well. And the first bit of action was obviously the red card for Sanchez, which is a clear red card. I've seen somehow some pundits are trying to be like there were 2 covering defenders, even though they were behind Mbeumo at the time. It's a clear red card. It was a clear goal scoring opportunity, and it is what it is. So I'm glad that we just took advantage of it. Well done to Benjamin Sesko, because no one is going to give him the fair dues for that knock-on flick that he gave to Mbeumo to set him through in the first place. And I think that is a bit of a measure of when the conditions are poor, or when we're going a bit more route one, to go up to him. And I have no problem with that, because that is a bit more of an adaptation from the typical boring style that a lot of clubs have been accustomed to, let alone us. So he did very well for that, and Mbeumo did well. And I have to say, Mbeumo just keeps giving his all every game. He's growing in the United shirt. And we take the lead through a Bruno Fernandes goal, which I was certain was offside at the time, but he did very well in getting on the end of that. I think it was Dorgu who technically got him the assist. And then we go on and get the second goal, and you just think, let's just enjoy now, because now we could just pop it around. We got 11v10, 2-0 up at home. Let's just enjoy ourselves. And I want to be fair a little bit on Casemiro. I thought the second yellow was harsh. Like, I don't think it's a yellow, in my opinion, and let alone to be the yellow that leads to a red. But you look at the phase of play and you think, if he's denying him unfairly the opportunity to continue that phase of play, then maybe a yellow is kind of fair. And I just don't think it is one, personally. Is it a foul? Again, I'm not sure. I think that is the instance where you go to Casemiro and you say, final warning, in my opinion. But then I'm biased. I'm a United fan. Obviously, I'm going to say that. So if it was the other team, would I be shouting for a red? Yeah, I would. So apples and oranges. I think I just look at Casemiro, though, because you look at both of those challenges that he made. Neither of them needed to happen. 3 covering defenders to go against the one that got the second yellow, and then the first one was on Enzo when there are 3 Man United players around it. There's zero reason to do that, and I'm sorry, you are the most experienced player on the whole pitch. No need to do it. It was naive, and it was, I'll go as far as say, it was a bit stupid from him. Like, I want to say naive when it's a young player, when you're still learning your craft and you're still, making mistakes. You're at that age to make mistakes. He's not. You've been there, done that, you made a mistake. And apparently he was quite remorseful to the teammates afterwards, so we move on from it. But if we had lost the game or lost the lead on the basis of, the chaos that ensues after being 10v10, I'd be looking at Casemiro a lot more differently. So I'm still upset with him, because you shouldn't be putting us in that position. And ultimately, though, the second half where it was 10v10, we set up to defend a bit better. I thought Ugarte did really well in terms of coming on and being the person to just try and get the ball back as much as possible. Like that last ditch block when Bayindir spilled it. We'll get onto him in a second. But I thought he did really well. And ultimately, I think there were really good performances throughout the pitch. Like Bayindir, like I say, I don't think he had too much to do, but I like that he did kind of come out and not claim crosses, but punching balls away to alleviate some pressure when they started getting some crosses in the box. But Lammens needs to start now. I think we're done with the Bayindir situation. I think he needs to be the second string. But Lammens has been there. He's learning with the training coaches and with everything. So now start him against Brentford and start him against Sunderland. I think that needs to happen now. I think that was always the plan, but let's get it going and let's go throughout the whole team. I thought Shaw was okay. Again, sloppy at times. The conditions were what they were, but he was sloppy. But he did well to get us our second goal. To be fair to him. I need to talk about Matthijs Ligt because I was really excited when we signed him. And to be honest, I'd been watching him since he was at Ajax. I was like, this is the type of defender that we've been lacking for such a long time. The kid, back then, he was just a warrior. And he was a young captain at Ajax during a revolution when Ajax were going down one way and then they kind of rejuvenated themselves under Ten Hag, but we'll gloss over that. But I just love the fact that every time that I've watched him this season in particular, he's just growing and growing and growing. And I remember when we signed him, there were loads of people that wanted to discredit it, saying like, oh, he's only been going one way. It's like, no, he hasn't. He's been winning leagues pretty much everywhere he's been, and he hasn't been displaced by anyone. Like, someone tried to come up with the theory that Eric Dyer displaced him at Bayern, even though they played together most of the time, and the only time that Dyer started ahead of him was, I think, 4 times in that season, and 3 of those times De Ligt was injured. So don't buy into everything you hear. Like, I was really happy when we bought him. I thought it's an incredibly shrewd acquisition to get him and Mazraoui at the same time on a joint deal. Both of them are high value signings, and De Ligt is only 26 years old. So we're looking towards this new era. We're looking towards the types of players that we want in that dressing room to lead us into this new frontier of Man United. I want the warrior Matthijs De Ligt in the heart of the back 3, or if it's a back 4 in future, I don't care. I want Matthijs De Ligt at the heart of it because he's been so solid this season. And whether it's marshalling Victor Gyökeres out of Old Trafford on his Premier League debut, or it's just being the man that puts his head in where people are scared to put their feet, I love the fact that he's there. And he's got the mentality, he's got the quality, in my opinion. I think he's been underrated by a lot of pundits and external fans as well. I think it's unnecessary. Another top performance from him. In fact, he was my man of the match. So I'm really happy with Matthijs De Ligt. I'm really happy to see that he's starting to flourish in a United shirt. Dorgu, I think it's a case of he's that type of raw talent where he needs to get better at certain things, but he'll learn those things. So I have faith that he will come to learn them because he's always getting in the right position. So just give him time. Mazraoui, again, I've mentioned him in the same breath as De Ligt. He's just such a high value proposition for what we bought him for. 12.7 million. Ridiculous. I thought Casemiro and Bruno actually worked well. Again, it was against 10 men, so it's difficult to go through it. But Bruno himself, we're talking about a guy who's had 200 appearances and like 186 goals and assists for Man United. It's ridiculous. And there's only 4 players in the history of Manchester United, 4 Man United midfielders in our entire history who have 100 plus goals. Can you guess who they are? Sir Bobby Charlton, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, and Bruno Fernandes. And yes, you could talk about the qualities of each player, whatever, but Sir Bobby Charlton for me is the outlier. Like to go through Munich and to go through what he had to do, he is the ultimate Man United legend in my opinion for everything he had to go through and still everything he achieved. And then you look at Giggsy, you look at Scholesy, like obviously class of 92, but they were in a great era. Yes, they led that era, but they still had great players around them. And you just got Bruno Fernandes there dragging our players through, kicking and screaming and donating, in my opinion, his prime years to Man United in our worst ever period on the pitch anyway, in relative to how we have been in more recent years. So fair play to the guy, man. Like I was one saying, if we sold him for a good amount of money and reinvested in other areas, yes, that would put us forward in years to come. But that does not negate the qualities that this guy has. Like he does show up, and even when he has to redeem himself for doing something silly, he usually does. and it was good to see him do that. I thought Ahmad had a decent game, but he needs to work on the link-up play with the strikers. Again, I think that will just come with time. No need to overanalyze that either. Mbermo, again, good, just given everything he has. Same with Šeško. And it was good to see Cunha back. It was good to see Mount back. So now that I'm looking forward into the Sunderland game and the Brentford games, like I say, there's no need to overanalyze everything, because everyone's just going to say, and you're going to think, well, 10 men and this happened and that happened and the conditions, like, it's hard to do that. Yesterday for me was just about grit, determination, who wanted it more, and we did. Yes, it was made easier for us in the first half, but how many times do you just see a team sit back with 10 men and then you can't break them down? We broke them down twice. We probably should have scored more. So no, I'm going to take that, and I'm quite happy that, you know what, I'm just going to be happy that Man United won a game of football. Is that too much to ask? That's what I'm going to do. Now that it's a week until the next game, I am just going to enjoy it. I am. But we look forward to Brentford. Early Saturday kickoffs never really tend to go well. I think it's at Brentford as well. But I just want to see Lammens play. I think Cunha, now that he's back up to fitness and back up to sharpness, I think he'll play. Lisandro Martinez, I think, is a while coming back from injury. I think it's going to be key when he comes back. Lenny Yoro got a bit of a rest and came on a bit later. It'd be good to see him start. But yeah, ultimately, I think it's now a case of we just need 2 wins against Brentford and Sunderland. Like, we can't really afford to falter at those teams, especially for where they are. Sunderland's a bit more difficult, I guess, like I think it's at Sunderland. So going there, you know, they've just been promoted, the atmosphere and all that, they do want to win, and they've got a pretty quality team considering who they've bought in the summer as well. So it's always a bit of a difficult one to analyse, but I think we just need to win them. And that is the case in point, because if we had these 4 games of City, Chelsea, Brentford, Sunderland, and we got 9 points, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. I would. So we've got the 3 against Chelsea, pretty key ones. And, you know, we're only like 1 or 2 points behind them, considering that we've had to play Arsenal, City and Chelsea. So a bit of optimism going into the rest of this week, which is nice. Finally, we don't have to be annoyed at where we are. We're actually just having a good game. So what did you think about the game? Let me know in the comments who you thought was your man of the match. For me, I've made it very clear. I think it's Matthijs to Ligt, but get in the comments and let me know what you think. I thought Maguire did well as well, someone I haven't really mentioned. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.